DTM, DTM,
DTM, DTM, DTM.
Some of you may have heard that chant before, and I wish for everyone the opportunity to hear it and to walk the DTM walk. So tonight is all about helping everyone understand the DTM award. We're going to talk about the old and the new. Your host will be myself, Debbie Thompson. I am the Pathways Master for Division C and 4-time DTM. Along with me, JD Dirkschneider, who is a 3-time DTM, but she also has the distinction of being the very first District 14 Pathways DTM. Our agenda is very simple. We're going to talk about Distinguished Toastmasters, we said, the DTM award. We'll talk about the traditional award and go through the details there. Then JD is going to present the Pathways DTM award. And at the very end of the session, we're going to have some Q&A, some questions answered. So let's start with the traditional DTM. And yes, we don't call this old, we call it traditional. It's nicer. Let's start with a poll. I'd like to see where everyone is with their DTM strategy. So this is a poll, and I'll give you a second. My goal for reaching my DTM is, and please just choose one, I am currently working on traditional, I'm currently working on pathways, or I'm currently working on both traditional and pathways. And then finally, what's a DTM? So let's see what those responses are. Yay, okay. So I see a lot of you on the call are actually working on your traditional program. There are several of you that are working on pathways, and some of you actually working on both. Great. And then we did not have anyone ask what's a DTM, so I consider that very good. So let's take a look at the DTM traditional program. As some of you know, the traditional program had two very specific tracks, a leadership track along with a communication track. And you can see from this representation, the leadership side started with competent leader and went from advanced leader bronze to advanced leader silver. That was the leadership track. The communication track had an additional goal. The competent communicator it started with, the advanced communicator bronze, advanced communicator silver, and then advanced communicator gold. I always think about the Olympics with that. Then finally, if you had achieved, once you'd achieved your advanced leader silver award, along with your advanced communicator gold award, you would be awarded you would be eligible to receive the DTM award. All right, so let's do a deep dive here of the communication track. It starts with the competent communicator, or CC, as a lot of you've heard, and it is the 10 foundation speeches. So this is things like your icebreaker, your how to organize your speech, how to build foundation skills, so things like working with props, researching speeches, things like that. The very next award, the Advanced Communicator Bronze, or ACB, has two additional manuals, advanced manuals. These are 5 speeches each, and they're very targeted toward building specific skills. So in order to receive your Advanced Communicator Bronze, you have to have received, Advanced Communicator Bronze, you have to have received your CC award. So these build in complexity. Okay, so let's look at the advanced manuals. Many of you are familiar with these. These are, again, very targeted skills. There are things like entertaining speaker, but you may want to be a professional speaker, things like storytelling, things like being a humorous speaker. So those, again, are very targeted speeches and give you a variety of things in that particular area to improve your skills. The next thing after Advanced Communicator Silver, ACS, and of course you have to have gotten your bronze before you can get your silver, you do 2 additional manuals, advanced manuals. Those are 5 speeches each. And then you have 2 programs that you have to do from the Better Speaker Series and or the Successful Club Series. We're going to talk about those in detail in just a second. But those are 10 to 15 minute presentations that really help your club members and your club officers have a successful club and be a better speaker. You can do 2 from the Better Speaker Series, 2 from the Successful Club Series, or 1 from each. The next, along the communication track, the next item is the Advanced Communicator Gold, or ACG. This is an additional 2 manuals, 5 speeches each. You have to conduct a success leadership or success communication program, or youth leadership. That's another project that you can use toward this. And finally, you have to have coached a new member through their first 3 speeches. And so that is the communication track. And I want to talk specifically about these 2 projects or programs that are on the communication track side, because I think a lot of people get them mixed up. When they get to Advanced Communicator Gold, they think they're supposed to do 2 more Better Speaker Series or Successful Club Series, and that's not the case. These Successful Leadership and Success Communication programs are much more advanced and much more involved. So let's talk about them in more detail. And I did want to mention that all of these advanced manuals have to be different manuals. You cannot do Speaking to Inform, for example, twice during this. To get your DTM, they have to be different manuals. All right, so let's talk about the speaker series. If you look on the left-hand side under Better Speaker, these are speeches that are intended to really help your members with parts of their speaking. So things like creating an introduction, or selecting your topic, or beginning and ending your speeches, concluding your speeches, something we all need help with. These are suggested to be about 10 or 15 minutes in length. So they are short, very targeted speeches to build certain skill sets. If you look in the middle column, this is a series of projects or presentations that will help the club members. It's things about being a successful club, like creating the best club climate, or doing the Moments of Truth presentation, or how to become a distinguished club. And so those are all about the club itself. And then finally, on the right-hand side, you've got the leadership excellence presentations. That is things that are very important in your leadership skill building, or if you're in management, things like how to delegate, how to give effective feedback, how to motivate people, how to build your mission, develop your mission. And so these things are all found on the District 14 website. They are free, and you can download those. But I just wanted to confirm, again, the 2 columns to the left are meant for the Advanced Communicator Award, Silver Award. And then the middle column and the right column are meant for the requirements around the Advanced Leader Bronze Award. Okay. This is what I think a lot of people are not familiar with, and this is the Advanced Leader Gold Success Leadership and Success Communication Series. These are really meant to be more workshops. They are building a lot of skills, but they're meant to be interactive, and they are generally much longer presentations. So for example, if you look at the Success Communication column, at the very bottom, you've got a presentation called From Speaker to Trainer. Very, very good information. But as you can see, it is recommended that it is 4 hours and 45 minutes. So quite a time commitment in that one. You'll notice in other presentations that they go anywhere from an hour to 90 minutes to 2 hours to 3 hours. But as I said, these are usually more in depth. They're more like workshops, and they are intended to be very interactive to keep someone involved. However, in our world of virtual meetings and Zoom meetings, these actually tend to lend themselves to be very effective in a Zoom meeting. In fact, I know JD recently did the effective evaluation presentation to several people who were on the webinar for under Zoom. So it was very, very effective. And so don't feel like if you haven't done this yet, that there's no way you would be able to do it in a very short time, because like I said, they do lend themselves to be done in a virtual environment. So these are all the things that are, one of these is a requirement for your Advanced Communicator Gold Award, and they are very different than the other series. Okay. I did want to show you these on the Toastmaster International website under the store, because you do have to get the manuals and the workbooks, and you can get them digitally though, so don't feel like you got to mail something in. There is a cost to these things. You just have to decide which one you want to do, and you can get a digital copy. And so you don't have to wait on the mail to get those. All right, so let's talk about the leadership track now. It starts with the Competent Leader Award, or your CL. These are 10 foundation projects. Most of them, I believe 6 out of the 10 are you would complete by just simply doing the roles in your club. So being a grammarian, or being a general evaluator, or being a Toastmaster, being a speech evaluator. All those things will give you credit toward getting your Competent Leadership Award. The next in line from the leadership track is Advanced Leaders Bronze, the ALB. And of course, in this, all of these build on each other. So in order to get your Advanced Leader Bronze, you have to have completed your Competent Leader, or CL Award, as well. In addition, in the Advanced Leader Bronze, you have to have achieved your Competent Communicator Award. So that's something that it is from the communication side, but in order to get bronze, you have to have completed that as well as your CL. The next 3 items that you'll see on the list are all in response to being a club officer. It is for a minimum of 6 months, but as you are an officer, as you're serving as an officer, you would participate, you would need to participate in a club success plan, and then attend club officer training. Okay, so those really are things that you should be doing as a club officer anyway, but those are required. And then you have to conduct 2 programs from the Successful Club Series and or the Leadership Excellence Series. Again, you can do 2 from Successful Club, 2 from Leadership Excellence, or 1 of each. All right. The next award is our Advanced Leader Silver, ALS. In order to get that award, you have to have served in a district leadership role. You have to complete the High Performance Leadership Program, and that will give you the Leadership Excellence Award. And then you have to serve as a club sponsor, club mentor, or club coach. And so when we look at district leadership, serving in district leadership, that is roles such as area director, division director, some of the top leadership, the trio, but it also can be received from your Pathways Guide or Pathways Ambassador term, if you have gotten credit for that. And we're going to talk in just a second about the fact that they have talked about the fact that if you are a club coach, you also get credit for district leadership. So we're going to talk about that more specifically in just a second. And then finally, on the leadership track, the very highest award that Toastmasters International does award is the Distinguished Toastmaster, which we're talking about today. You have to achieve your Advanced Communicator Gold Award as well as your Advanced Leader Silver Award. So again, we talked about these leadership, excellence, and success club series presentations, the 10 to 15-minute presentations. And then I want to talk about in more detail the extension that we have on the Advanced Leader Silver Award. So we're going to talk about that in detail and make sure you understand that part. So this is the leadership side, leadership track. Let's talk for a second about the club coach. Most of you already know or have learned that Toastmasters International has said that you can use the club coach role for both your club coach requirements as well as your district leadership requirements and district leadership role. Okay, so that's really a 2-for-1. If you successfully complete being a club coach and getting your club to distinguished, then you would be able to count that not only as club coach for your DTM, but as district leadership. Okay. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about how our Toastmaster world has changed after COVID-19. We are in a totally different environment. We are in a Zoom presentation environment. And Toastmasters International has said because of that, they are extending the Advanced Leader Silver and DTM Awards for an additional year. And so I took this directly from the Toastmaster International website. Excuse me. This extension is for club coach, club sponsor, and club mentor. It also applies to your high performance leadership project. That's your leadership award, as well as the club coach provision that they have made that you get 2 roles when you are a successful club coach. You get coach and district leader. So that provision has been extended also, and that is extended until June 30th, 2021. Excuse me. What that does not cover, however, is your Advanced Leader Bronze Award. So you must have gotten that before June 30th. It also does not consider any of the communication side. So you have to have gotten your CC, AC Bronze, AC Silver, and or AC Gold. Okay. In order to clarify, because they named everything on that other sheet, but they didn't talk about district leadership. This is a response from Toastmasters International about the extent of the ALS award, those things that are covered in this extension. And so officer roles, district roles, as well as club coach, club mentor, and club sponsorship that have not been used. So you can't have used them for another DTM or another kind of award. If you haven't used them yet, they still can count toward the exception. Okay. If, for example, you're a club coach and you're appointed July 2nd, 2020, that member will qualify for the extension. The other thing to note here is July 2nd, 2020 is not this term. So that means that you would not have to be appointed right now and be grandfathered in. You can actually start your term in July 2020. The other thing they mentioned is that the newly elected district officers will also qualify for this exception. So for anything in the ALS that we just covered, there is an extension until June 30th, 2021. And so you may be in a situation where you've got a lot of speeches to do to finish your communication side, but you don't have that many club meetings left in 2020. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about the opportunities that you have in Toastmasters to give those club speeches or to give those speeches. And in this virtual environment that we're in today, it actually is a great opportunity to use the virtual meetings where you do not have to travel and to give speeches in clubs that may not have speakers. And we have a situation, I think, that's really a win-win for all of us, and that is a lot of our clubs are trying to build their membership so that they are able to get their DCP goals met, because you do have to get membership before you can count any of your education goals or any of your other goals. And so these clubs are struggling because they don't have a lot of members and they want to give a really good meeting, but they may not have a lot of speakers signing up within their club. And so we want to partner those clubs with people who are looking to give their club speeches to complete their ACG. And that would be a win-win for both of us. And so Allegra Manigo, who is the Division C director, has been partnering with her area directors to help identify clubs that really need speakers. If you contact her, then she will try to match you up with clubs that are asking her for speakers. But you don't have to just limit your looking to your leadership. If you are interested in speaking at other clubs, then one of the things you can do is go to their website and submit a club contact submission, asking the club to contact you if they're interested in you giving speeches in their club meetings. A lot of times they are available and would be glad to help you do that, and somebody hopefully would contact you and let you know when you would have the opportunity to speak. I actually know someone who did not have any of their AC Gold speeches done, and about 3 weeks ago they started looking for other clubs. They have now come to the point where they only have 3 speeches left, and they've got to do their AC Gold project, but they're going to do that virtually. The virtual environment, as I said, lends itself to doing some of these larger programs. And so he's going to be able to complete his AC Gold by June 30th with speaking at other clubs. The other thing I wanted to mention is in the traditional program, you do have the opportunity to do 2 speeches outside of a club meeting. So if you work with your VPE, you can do meetings at a restaurant. You can do meetings as long as you have a Toastmaster who is going to evaluate you. You can do groupings where you have these opportunities to do speeches. So be creative, understand that there are opportunities, and that is, just wanted to mention too, that's 2 speeches per manual. So that does open it up that you can give a lot of your speeches outside of a club meeting. But I think there are also opportunities to give them at club meetings as well. And so I'm going to, at this point, stop sharing and let's go to pathways. So we want to end our traditional program with a bang, but I'm going to turn it over to our pathways representative now, who's going to tell us a little bit more about pathways. This is JD Dirk-Snyder, who is one of our Pathways ambassadors. She has been in leadership all over District 14. And as I said, she was our first District 14 Pathways DTM award recipient. Please welcome JD Dirk-Snyder.
Thank you so much, Debbie. And I'm glad that we have people who really want to go ahead and get their DTM from the traditional program, but I'd like to talk a little bit about how that compares to the Distinguished Toastmasters Award and the Pathways Learning Experience. First of all, let's take a little poll. Where are you on your Pathways journey? Here are your choices. I haven't chosen a path. I've completed my Pathways icebreaker. I've completed level 1 or level 2 or level 3, 4, or 5, or I'm not working in Pathways. So what were the results? Look at that. We have some members who have not chosen a path yet. Some who have completed the Pathways icebreaker, and a lot who have done levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But some, again, They may have chosen a path, but they hadn't started working in it yet. So let's see if we can get you excited about working in pathways. What are the requirements in pathways compared to the traditional program? Well, for one thing, the traditional program requires around 45 speeches and presentations, whereas pathways only requires about 28 speeches and leadership projects. The traditional program has all of those 7 communications and leadership awards that you have to earn. In pathways, you just have to complete 2 unique paths plus a distinguished Toastmasters project, and we'll talk more about that later. Traditional, you have to have been a club officer for a minimum of 6 months. And remember, that also includes being in on the preparation of your club's success plan and also attending Toastmasters Leadership Institute or your district club training, district officer club training. Pathways is a little bit different. You have to be a club officer for a minimum of 12 months. That also includes preparing your club success plan and attending club officer training. How do you do this? If you're in a club which is entitled to elect officers twice a year, that would be those clubs who meet weekly. How do you do the 12 months? You don't have to do it consecutively. You can break it up. You can be a vice president of education for 6 months, and then next term or a couple of terms later, you can be the vice president of public relations, so long as it is a cumulative 12 months of your full 6 month and 6 months terms. Traditional, you have to be a district officer for 1 year. Same in pathways, district officer for 1 year. Traditional, you have to be either a successful sponsor, mentor, or coach. Pathways has it a little bit different. You have to be a successful mentor or coach, and you have to be a successful club sponsor or present a speechcraft or a youth leadership program. So those are the requirements comparisons. As far as I'm concerned, it's easier to get a DTM in the Pathways program. Let me get this clear. There are no traditional speeches that are going to be transferred to the Pathways program. Any that you've done in your CC, your Advanced Communicator Bronze, your Advanced Communicator Silver, your Advanced Communicator Gold, as of July the 1st, forget about it. They're not transferable to the Pathways program. But do you have any unused leadership awards? And by that, I mean leadership awards that you haven't used for a particular traditional leadership award. What do you do with those leftovers? District leader, speech crafter, youth leadership program presenter, club officer, sponsor, mentor, coach. Are they just left in there to start looking like a bad science experiment in your refrigerator? No. Did you know that Toastmasters International has a leadership award bank? They do. Inside that bank is a gigantic vault. It is guarded by a team of crack security guards. In that vault is a huge room loaded with individual safe deposit boxes. One of those has your name and your member number on it. And inside your very own personal safe deposit box is your very own personal little teeny piggy bank. What goes in that piggy bank? Your awards that you have not used yet. your speechcraft and youth leadership programs, your club officer and district leader, your club sponsor, your mentor or coach. You can bank those and use those in the Pathways program. What about the traditional high performance leadership project that earns you the Leadership Excellence Award? I'm so sorry. That little piggy doesn't take those. They end on June the 30th of this year. Let's talk about the Pathways path structure. Each path has 5 levels. Each level has 2 to 3 required projects. Level 3 and above have the required projects plus 1 to 2 elective projects. How about the order that you actually work these projects? Well, until last fall, you had to do these in order. You could not go to level 2 until your base camp manager, I'll tell you about those later, has approved you to go to your level 2. He has had to make sure that you have completed all the requirements in level 1. So you couldn't advance until you have completed the level before that. Well, in last September, that all changed because now we can access and work any project in any level of any path in your transcript in any order you wish. So, although we can hop all around, Pathways really encourages you to do them in order. Debbie and I really think this is important for new Toastmasters, that they at least complete the projects in level 1 and level 2 in order to get that foundation. A couple of things that have come up during my term as Pathways Ambassador and Vice President Education. I've completed level 2, but I skipped level 1, and my base camp manager says, I'm not eligible for my level 2 award. What's all that about? Well, your base camp manager was right. While you can complete the levels and projects in the order of your choice, your level completion awards must be submitted in chronological order on Club Central if you want to be recognized as completing those levels. In other words, you can't get your level 2 award until you have gotten your level 1 award. How about if you work in print? Well, since we don't have to complete the levels in sequence anymore, is World Headquarters going to start mailing all of my levels at the same time? Well, I know you wish that, but no. You're going to continue to receive your path in those 3 mailings. You complete the first mailing, you can request the second mailing. You finish all the work in the second mailing, and you can request your third mailing. Let's talk a bit about the DTM project. Remember that in addition to completing 2 unique paths, for your Pathways DTM, you have to complete a Distinguished Toastmaster project. The purpose is for you to demonstrate to your club that you have learned some skills as a leader and a public speaker. So what is it? You have to plan and complete a project that benefits an organization. Develop a team. Your team's going to help you design a plan. You're going to deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech to your club to explain your plan. Then you're going to organize the project, and you're going to lead your team to complete the project. Ask members of your team, the organization, and a peer group to complete that 360-degree evaluation of your leadership skills, and deliver an 8 to 10 minute speech to your club that reviews your project talks about the outcome, the benefits, and of course, the lessons that you've learned. Where is your DTM project? Because if you open your transcript now, you can see all of your levels in your path. You can see all of the projects in each of the levels in your path, but you will not see the animal known as the DTM project. Here's why. Because you have to complete the first 3 levels of your path, not any 3 levels. You have to complete 3 first levels, 1, 2, and 3. Then you email World Headquarters, educationawards@toastmasters.org, and tell them, hey, I have completed level 3. Would you please send me my DTM project? They're going to verify your eligibility. And within a very short time, poof, a DTM project is going to be in your educational transcript in your base camp. And you can start working on it as soon as you get it, while you're still working on your levels 4 and 5. A lot of people are confused between the DTM project and the High Performance Leadership Project. So let's review that. The DTM project has a team, but you don't need a guidance committee. I feel that the DTM project gives some more useful resources, especially for how to work with your team. DTM project has the 360 evaluation by your team members, and that encourages greater accountability. These are the things that your team is going to give you feedback on: leadership, communication, interpersonal skills, teamwork and team building, problem solving, motivation, prioritization, and reliability. And believe me, when you know that your team is going to be telling you how well you did on those points, you're going to do a much better job of being a leader. Every one of the pathways paths in level 5 has a high performance leadership project. Remember, this is different from the traditional high performance leadership project. 3 of our paths require a high performance leadership project in level 5: effective coaching, innovative planning, and persuasive influence. The other paths offer that as an elective in level 5. So if you're taking those first 3, elective coaching, innovative planning, and persuasive influence, start thinking about what you want to do for your high performance leadership project. I want to show you now an easy way to coordinate your projects when you're trying to earn your Pathways DTM, especially now that we can hop all around. District 14 has put one of the Pathways Bibles on their website. You search for District 14 or D4, District 4, Pathways. You'll come to this page. It's one of the first that pops up when you search. It's going to show you all of the paths. You click on the path you want to know more about, and it's going to give you an overview of that path. You can choose any of those 5 levels. This, for instance, is level 3. It tells you exactly what those required projects are, what they include, how long is your speech. Might be 2 speeches. It gives you that information. And then from level 3 on, it shows you the choice of elective projects that you have. Remember, it's either 1 or 2 electives you have to do in those last 3 levels. It's a brilliant way to help you schedule your activities to your projects. For instance, if you are in a job where your manager says, I want you to lead a team to do so-and-so, you check in here to see when is a project with those objectives coming up so that you can serve your employer and do a pathways project and get credit for it. It's brilliant. Remember, you just search D4 pathways and you can come to this site. There's also a graphic that is on some people's website, but Toastmasters actually published this as a PDF. And it's really nice because it shows you all of the elements of the pathways DTM. And under each one, it gives an approximate time commitment to complete that element, as well as the skills that you're going to gain or improve when you go through that particular element. If you will search for D17, that's District 17, Pathways DTM Skills, you'll get to this and it's brilliant. D17, Pathways DTM Skills. Then we're going to take a time for some questions that our members have asked us since we have gone through this DTM conversion. Other than the form in the traditional high performance leadership workbook, is there any additional information that I have to submit for my traditional high performance leadership or the Leadership Excellence Award? Why, thank you for asking. Yes. First of all, there is that application where you get your guidance committee to sign off. And at the very top of it, you'll see that they say, do not forget to also attach the evaluator guide. Evaluator guide for presenting the results. So these 2 pages have to be submitted in order to get your Leadership Excellence Award for your high performance leadership project. Debbie, would you take our next question, please?
Unmute first. Can you suggest a way to get the signatures for the HPL from the HPL committee? Interesting question. We are in a virtual environment now. And so the answer is there's several ways you can do this. Think about how you do your evaluation forms now, but one of them is just to print it, sign it, and have them scan the form back to you. They can also print it, sign it, and take a photo on their smartphone and send it to you or email it to you. Have them send you an email with the required information. This is one of the things they would consider as a digital signature, but you would need to attach it to your paperwork. And this is a method that we did for contest in our ballots. So Toastmasters has said that they will accept it as a digital signature. I think there are other applications you can use to get a digital signature, but you would have to include all of that information in your paperwork. And then finally, meet them in a dark alley, step away 6 feet and have them sign the form, then safely retrieve it with your mask on. That's an option, but you may want to use the top 3. Okay, JD.
Thank you, Debbie. Does Toastmasters International assign your DTM project, or do you need to tell them what it is when you email them asking them to provide your project? Absolutely not. This is all up to you. When you email them asking for them to make your DTM project available, you don't even have to know what your project is going to be. That's all up to you. You don't have to tell Toastmasters International, but make sure that it is a project that allows you to use your leadership skills. Example would be planning and presenting a Toastmasters Club mid-year celebration all by yourself would not be a project where you're leading others. That would not qualify for a DTM project. But if you're an area director, even a division director, or any type of club or district leader where you have the opportunity to lead committee members, then that's a wonderful DTM Pathways project. Debbie?
Yes, ma'am. Question 4. The only goal I have left is to earn my traditional DTM. In my traditional DTM is being a club coach. Unfortunately, I don't expect the club I am coaching to be successful this year. Do you have any suggestions that may help me achieve my goal? Yes, we do. One of the things about the traditional program is you do have an extension if you are a club coach to June 20th, 2021. So you can use that time to get your club to distinguished. Another one is to make sure you map out exactly what you're going to need to accomplish. Look at your DCP goals, talk about who it will accomplish it, how you're going to accomplish it. If it's not a person, how are you going to get 4 new members, etc. So you need to map out that plan and really follow it with your club. Make it available to your club and really talk about those goals. There's one other thing. If you look on the Toastmaster International website, there is a place where you can see the club coaches and the ones that have been assigned to various clubs. Those people are a wealth of knowledge. If they've been a successful club coach before, see if you can contact them and brainstorm ideas. What did they do to get their club to distinguished? So that's a wealth of knowledge there. You can also contact your club growth director. Pratik Patel is the club growth director now, or any of the coaches or trainers on his team, and brainstorm ideas with them. And then finally, I Googled first class coach, club coach on the internet. JD, if you could share that. Oh, where'd the photo go? Took it off. Okay, if you Google that, it is a manual that is intended for area and division directors, but it is excellent because it has a lot of information about how you can, things that you can do to become a successful club coach. So I would encourage you to Google, try to find that manual and look at it for information. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Although our district leadership term is complete at the end of June, can we submit it earlier in June? And Toastmasters actually encourages you to do this because you know they're going to have a lot of awards being submitted at the end of June. So if the only thing you have left is complete your DTM as your district leadership service, in this case, perhaps an area director term, you may submit your application the 1st of June rather than wait until the end. Now, keep in mind, this is only if district leadership is the only thing you have left to complete. Debbie?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Question 6. Do the Better Speaker, Successful Club, and Leadership Excellence Series programs count in Pathways? And those are the things we talked about in the traditional program. And the answer to that is no. I'm not aware of any credit that you can get in Pathways for giving these presentations. However, many of them are very informative and can be very helpful to your members. Some of them are obsolete, though. You do have to look at that. The Toastmasters educational program, of course, is no longer supported. It is Pathways now. But the other thing you might do is look in Pathways and see if there is a speech, work with your VPE, see if there might be a speech that you could give on one of these modules and for your club and get credit under their objectives for that speech. There may be something out there that you could use. Okay.
All right, thanks, Debbie. Now, what if you hadn't completed your ALB, your Advanced Leader Bronze? Can you still have that extension? No, the extension is just for the ALS. So the Advanced Leader Bronze is not included in that extension. You must have completed the Competent Leader and the Advanced Leader Bronze before June 30th, 2020, because they're not going to receive an extension. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. Debbie, would you close us out, please?
Yes, ma'am. So JD and I want to wish you the best of luck in completing your Distinguished Toastmaster Award and walking that DTM walk. It is something that is so rewarding, and along the way you learn so much. We wish you well with that. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact JD or myself, or you can get in touch with Anwisha Banerjee, who is our Program Quality Director, who's in charge of all of our education programs. I wish you well and happy DTM. I want all of you to walk that DTM walk. Thank you so much. Goodbye.